Did you know you can interact with us and continue the conversation via our online forum? That's right. You can email us today at setapartpodcastteam@gmail.com. Live from the place to be, it's your favorite cousin's favorite cousin. It's your boy Ren and your girl Dee. Dee, say what's up to the people.
What's up to the people?
What's popping today, Dee?
Listen, it's just a great day. The sun is shining, but the pollen is pollinating. Because man, my sinuses are in protest right now.
Hey, I got a question since you said that, and this is totally random. When people say I'm an old man, like, all right, keep in mind, guys, like I, in my mind, am probably about 60, 70 years old. So when social media says, like, they'll point at something and be like, it's given. What does that mean? Like, it's given Beyonce. It's given, like, what does it's given mean?
It just means like this is an adjective. I want to turn a noun into an adjective instead of just saying it. Like if I was saying like what you just said, it's giving real great uncle.
Okay.
Without just saying, why you acting like an old man? It's just a fun way to say that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now that I'm educated,
that's all.
It's pollinating. The season is turning. What's good?
I mean, everything is good, but I just want my sinuses to take a break, a vacation, so we can settle down. But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Since you're talking about how old you are or how old you feel, whatever. Question. What movie defined your childhood? Ooh. What movie defined your childhood? Not your teenagehood, but your childhood. Little Ren watched it 15 million times. Whenever it was on TV, even if it was in the middle, you froze and watched it.
Oh, that's hard. That's it. It's hard because like back then, and of course, for the people who are 10 years, 8 years, even 7 years younger than me, they probably don't understand this. But back then, we used to actually have a time that we set in front of the TV when we wanted to watch a show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if your show came on at 5 o'clock, that mug is gonna start at 5 o'clock. It ain't no Netflix. It ain't no you can start it when you get to it.
Ain't no skipping commercials.
Ain't no skipping commercials. No, when you got there, actually, to tell you the truth, something that hurts me about TV today is that if you go back to when we were younger, commercials used to be a part of the entertainment. Like they actually cared about the commercials that they put out there because they understand that they don't want to bore you to get you to turn the channel.
Yeah.
Now commercials, I promise you, if I see one more Gronkowski USAA commercial, I'm fighting everybody. I'm fighting.
Listen, but the progressive commercials be, I'm like,
oh, that old guy that be teaching people how to.
So that one. So look, progressive got that one, but Flo been holding it down for a minute.
Flo been a minute, like
she really playing multiple characters. Like progressive, they should do some awards for commercials, not just the Emmys for TV really shows. Because remember back when Sonic first started and they would have those two guys in the car arguing over their Sonic food?
Yeah.
Even that's different, but those would be some good commercials.
That's it. I mean, it done went from Flo has stood the test of time. Like Jake from State Farm is a baby compared to Flo. It was two Jake from State Farms before
there was a white Jake. Let's call it what it is. This is Jake from State Farm. Yeah. Oh, really?
What are you wearing? Khakis. But I would definitely have to say probably the movie is the Goofy movie. Like I loved it. Like, and you know how much I love it. Like I think that a Grammy should have been made off of Powerline.
Oh gosh.
Powerline should have a Grammy. Like I'm talking about He
He need an
had
Oscar too.
bangers. He had bangers. And so, especially because in real life, of course, Tevin Campbell, I enjoy his music. A part of me would argue to say that his R&B career wasn't as big because he got that Disney money. But who am I to say that? But I would definitely say the Goofy movie. Or some type of Power Rangers. I mean, that was little like you gave me. Everybody wanted to babysit me as a kid. You give me something to eat. You stick me in front of one of those two things. You're not hearing from me.
Yeah.
Like you're not hearing from me. I am ain't no bad, ain't no good. I am stuck in that spot. Hardcore. What about yourself?
For me, it would have to be Sister Act 2.
A
Because
child?
yeah. Do
Okay.
you know what year that came out?
I don't.
Yeah, you trying to act like I was dang.
But as a child, though,
How
you
old do you think I
gravitated to
am? Yeah.
as you
It came
gravitated to
out in
originals.
1993.
Nah, and you gravitated to a real movie as a child.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sister Act 2. Let me tell you why. I am a church kid. Okay.
Okay.
There's not many movies that was popping like that. And this is Sister Act 2. Let me make sure I
Uh-huh.
make that clear. Sister Act 1, that one was all popular, but not to the kids I grew up with. Sister Act 2, I'm a church kid. I'm a
Okay.
church kid that sang in the choirs. All my best friends grew up just like me. We wasn't able to do a whole lot of stuff. But when that movie came out, it was like, man, I want to be in that choir. That school looked
Yeah.
fun.
You talk about fill us with the light, oh day of
Yeah.
feelings.
Hello, they was wearing cross colors. They was like wearing Doc Martens, and it was filmed like 15 minutes from the crib. Like
That's funny.
that was the movie for us. It was
With
funny.
the light
It
of
had
their
Lauryn
love.
Hill. It was funny. It had great music. It had black kids singing, and it was like
That's
hip hop. It was all the cool stuff that was happening, the fashion in the 90s. So this is 1993. So I was 7.
okay.
Yeah, I remember like having sleepovers and us going to Blockbuster. We'll take that one again.
Joyful, joyful, oh,
Yeah.
we
Oh, happy
adore you.
day. Are you
That's what's
crazy?
up.
Please.
Okay.
Yes. I know the
Um,
whole
I,
script.
I watch certain stuff on online, mostly Kevin on stage. Kevin on stage will be like, and this is true in the black community. Of course, if you're not in the black community, I understand that you may not. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if you deal with this or not in your community, but in the black community, they will shun you for not seeing a certain black movie, what they consider a black movie. So they'd be like, "Oh, you ain't never seen Sister Act 2? How you ain't like they will literally it will be the topic of conversation and you in the middle of that mug,
Let
but
me
you
give you
have
an
not
example
seen
of
this."
that though. Because people be faking like they've been seeing stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
And this is just crazy. They'll know the lines from it and never see the movie because black people always quote movies.
For sure. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I
I
can
have a
tell you.
friend that did that, and she was like, "I was just laughing because y'all always say it." I'm like, "You ain't never seen The Color Purple? What? Why is that? That shouldn't even be funny."
Oh, that's funny because we do that. Like I do that with movies now, not necessarily black movies, but like for example, I've never seen one scene of Frozen, not one scene. But I get the gist of the story. It's everywhere. It's in
Hmm.
Walmart. It's everywhere. Like it's hard not to. So it's like some movies can become so popular that you can know the entire story without seeing 1 second of that
I
movie.
thought you was about to quote Frozen. I was about to be what you finna quote for Frozen.
Nah, I know the songs. I know like the Let
Well,
It Go
everybody know the
song.
song. Yeah,
Like yeah, like the Build a Snowman song, but I've never seen it ever.
you don't need to.
I mean, nah, I ain't doubling back to go see that at all. But what I'm saying is, movies can get so popular
Yeah.
that you
Other
know
movies
everything
quote
about it.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Other movies quote them. Comedians quote them. But
Yeah.
that's what makes it funny. And I think to go to your point, and Kevin on stage makes this point all the time. He's one of my favorites too. But it comes from a time when there weren't many options of entertainment.
Yeah.
and you always were entertained as a group. You was never in your room watching TV. It was always like whatever's on the TV, this is what you listening to, this is what you watching. And the whole family was there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you didn't, and kids didn't get to pick usually.
Oh no, 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 no.
And when you didn't have a lot of options, and I mean like it could be poverty or whatever, wherever you living at, whatever. When a black movie, first of all, there weren't that many movies where black people started them. So when they
Right.
came out, we was like, oh, we finna go see that. We finna go see that new Denzel. Like
Right.
that's how we talk.
Right. Right.
It may not even be good. You gonna see that new Eddie Murphy? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we was all in there and we support and we watch it
Yeah.
again, watch it again,
And
again.
again. Yeah.
And then we quote it
And
after we watch it.
exactly. We called it for the next
Yeah.
years. That's real. Another thing that all right, and this is definitely segue, but another thing Kevin on stage we talking about is he had this question and I 100% asked this question from my soul. He'd be like, why do we be doing this to people? Like, we'll be like, hey, there go your boy, knowing that that is not your boy. Like they
That's
know
what
you
it
probably got it.
means.
Yeah, you probably got an issue with them. Like, oh, you got an issue with the old girl, you got an issue with the old boy.
Listen,
But they'll be the first one to walk. Hey, there go your girl, there go your boy. You know
that's
that ain't our boy.
but that's what it means. It means that it ain't. Cause girls do it too. We be like, there go your little friend.
Exactly, little friend. Why are you gonna be
Yeah. Because we know what it means. It
Oh,
means
that's
you
funny.
can't there go that person you can't stand.
Exactly. That's so messed up. Why do we do that to people?
It's
Why do we
just
do it?
because it's fun. And I'm gonna be honest, it's just fun to have your own language.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fun to have your own like stuff that only people get.
Right.
It's just laugh to keep from crying type of thing. It just black people, we like to make stuff up.
Yeah.
I mean, other people might too, but I'm only black, so
Right.
we
I
just
understand.
we had a lot of time sitting around because we wasn't going nowhere. We was at the house, you at your cousin's house, you at your grandma's house. So entertainment just happens, and everybody's funny.
Yeah. Hey, let us know. Let us know if everybody else do that because that's hilarious. I think that's hilarious. Like
And it's an insult when you put little in front of it.
Lil, they got your
Oh, you
little
finna start your
friend.
little job? You finna start your little job today?
Yeah, you about to start your little job. Come on, bro. Why gotta be?
I see
Why
you got your
gotta
little
be
car
little job?
outside. Yeah.
Why gotta be little? Why you doing me like that? Dang.
Everything's an insult.
We be putting people on blast too much. Why do we do that? Come on, y'all. But nah, we about to get into something good. Something I'm glad we can have that laugh. The last couple episodes we have been to kind of like educational modes. It's been mental health. We've been trying to come out of that mindset, that cloud of anxiety, that cloud of depression, and now we're just gonna get into a little bit of active tips. Continuing that healthy lifestyle type thing. And so the theme of today would be kind of remedies or tips and tricks or things that you can get your mind focused on to get out of what we call that ravine or that hole maybe that you've been digging for a little bit. And so I'm gonna start with you, Didi. What are some of the things, and we kind of hit on this a little bit, but what are some of the things that must be consistent in your daily schedule or your weekly life or even your monthly? What is something that must be in your schedule in order for you to say, that's healthy for me? That is my definition of health. That is a balance. That is something that I got to make sure I got. That is something that's on the schedule for show. What's something like that?
Yeah, I mentioned it before, but I gotta get outside at some point. Even if it's for
Okay.
a little while, I need to feel outdoors. I need to feel outside. I need to feel fresh air. I need to feel whatever whatever's going on. I just like to be outside. And so when I
Right.
can't be outside for an extended period of time, I make sure I take a ride, roll the windows down, make sure I take a short walk. Something.
Right.
It's almost like my body craves it. And it's disappointing when I can't. And I feel a little low when I can't. Um, so that's probably something. And I don't even have to try too hard to do it. It's almost like a reflex. Like
Hmm.
I just gotta I just find my way outside at some point in the day.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
So something for me that has to be in there is a balanced workout regimen. Um, Not only is working out, and don't get me wrong. So let me clear the air to what people think working out is and what working out is not. And so, um, if it is not apparent, I do believe and promote as a part of a healthy lifestyle, consistent workout regimen. Now, consistent may mean different things to different people. Consistent for me may mean a higher number or lower number of working out sessions, I guess, within a week. But these are the things that I need because these are the things that I do. One, in the working out realm, I like to consider the body in general as a masterpiece. It is the one thing, um, and I wouldn't say total control, but it is the one thing that I have some control over to
Mhm.
grow, to change, to shape gradually over time. Of course, you don't walk in that mug one time and come out looking like you want to look gradually over time. But it's also what I call my safe space in the sense of when I go to the gym, you'll see my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm throwing in some music. A lot of times, if we talk about gym playlists, it's not always rah rah. Sometimes,
Mhm.
here, this is my top three working out playlists. One, breakup music. Nothing gets me more pumped than breakup music. I
And a
know,
broken
judge me
heart.
if you will. I listen. I will be in the most successful of relationships and still be talking about in too deep, can't think about giving it up. But I never knew love could feel like a heart attack. I'll be in that mug blurting out breakup music. Uh, Number two, surprisingly, and this is when I zone out, some classical music. I'll zone out to some classical music, just focus on what I'm doing at that moment. A lot of time, I won't even. I don't know if you ever zoned out to the point where you don't hear music. You just are doing what you're doing. Like you don't even like you're just totally
I
locked
prefer
in.
that when I'm trying to focus, I don't need lyrics because I'm
Right.
I'm too big of a lyric person. So yeah.
Exactly. So that's the zone that I get in. And number three, um, this is kind of pertained to number one, um, closely followed by my country music playlist, but I call it slow jam Saturdays. I can only listen to slow music. So anything that's on a Saturday is slow jam Saturday. I walk in already knowing anything slow. It has to be slow. I don't even care who it is, what vibe it is, slow music. I got slow jam Saturdays on the mind. Um,
Okay.
so it's working out, yes, but really what it is, it's me protecting time to unplug,
Hmm.
to kind of do something that I enjoy. I enjoy working out, but also I'll leave that place reminded that things can be simple. Let's say that.
Hmm.
When I get sped up, I get flustered. My mind is always on the next thing. I'm extremely goal oriented, which is not a bad thing sometimes. But if you're always on, you're gonna get burned. You're gonna get burnt out quick. Um, and so that is something that I need to have in my lifestyle. If I'm not doing
Hmm.
it, I'll get flustered. I don't have a time to. I'm not unplugging.
Yeah.
I'm not unplugging. I'm always on. There's a definition. There's a term called ruminating. And I won't give you the actual dictionary.com definition, but ruminating is kind of like when you have something in your mind and you continue to go over it and over it and
Hmm.
over it, even though it's past, over it and over it, even though it hasn't come up yet. Maybe it's a month away, over it and over it. Like you're literally just recycling this thought process over and over and over again. That's what we call ruminating. And so the ability to unplug helps me not ruminate because ruminate leads me to stress.
Yeah. Yeah.
So working out is one of them for me. I know last time we talked, Dee Dee, we talked about sometimes our mental health can have attachment to things that we have relationships with. For example, my relationship with sleep. I talked about that in the last episode. But we also hit on that it can have a effect on our mental health with our relationship with food.
Mm-hmm.
Go into that a little bit more for me.
I would say number one, it doesn't look the same for everybody. A lot of people would assume that people who are struggling with depression or stress would overeat. That's not always the case.
Hmm.
Um, and even for me, it hasn't always been the case the same way. So in my earlier years, I would lose my appetite if I was really stressed. So I just wouldn't have a desire to eat, wouldn't be hungry, just be off. And it didn't make sense because I was either playing a sport like high intensity or working out. So I should be very hungry. But if I'm stressed, it's like that chemical imbalance or my brain is not communicating you need to eat.
Right.
Um, but in other times in my life, it hasn't been overeating, but it's been craving certain types of food.
Hmm.
So I'm not huge on like I didn't even start liking chocolate until my adult years. And there'll be a period when I would crave chocolate. Yeah.
Until your adult years?
Mm-hmm.
Holy
I've
smokes.
never really been
What?
big on yeah.
I love chocolate. What?
I wouldn't even say
I
I love
wish.
it now, but I will start craving it. Like I need
Mhm.
some. I don't know. And my favorite thing is chocolate covered almonds. So it's not even like the worst chocolate ever. But
Respect. Yeah, that's nice.
I could eat a whole bag of of that. But
What
or
are,
it'll
what are
go
some
ahead.
of the other things that you're like when it times for Didi to start craving? I'm talking about like foods that you go to as far as comfort foods. I know we use that term too general, but what are some things that you go to other than chocolate?
I wouldn't even say chocolate is a comfort food. It just be a weird time when I'm like going crazy because I don't see it anywhere. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, Sometimes it's like I just want something salty. So more
Mm.
recently, what's it called? Gardettos. That mix of pretzels and little chips in there. It's like a Chex Mix type of thing.
Oh, I think I know what you're
Um,
talking about. Yeah.
yeah, but they're super salty, and I haven't had them since probably college. I just saw them
Okay.
one. I was like, oh my god, I haven't had these, and so then it's just it could be anything. But I think what happens is I just get into modes where it's like I really want this for like 2 weeks straight, and then I don't.
Okay.
And then I notice it's usually when it's high stress time because I'm not even a big snacker. But when it's high stress time, it's like I want snacks all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I wouldn't even say it's one specific thing. I think I'm just off of my normal like what I usually maintain myself with. So it could be
Okay.
I wouldn't even say it's sweets. It's just it's weird. And I
Right.
think the moral of it is I'm not myself when it's high stress, and that's letting me know, hey, what's going on? Stop,
Right.
check, and if I can manage to eliminate stuff, I will. But sometimes you can't in that moment.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
So when it comes to diet, sometimes it's not always one way, even for the same individual. I think it's important. The point of it is to know when you're off your normal schedule or your normal diet, things that you know you need, and you just craving everything except that, or you're
Yeah.
not eating regular meals. You just snacking nonstop.
Yeah.
For me,
If if I could snack all the time, that's one of my issues. If I could snack all the time, I probably would. Like I find myself. So one of the biggest things that I try to challenge myself to as of recently is to have 3 meals a day. You sound think that sounds hard, like 3 meals a day, but the issue is a lot of people would have and trust me, if you're listening right now and you feel attacked, that's because it's you. A lot of people will fill up on caffeine because on the going down in caffeine sometimes is a appetite curver. Um, And so not only will they fill up on caffeine, but they'll caffeine a snack, caffeine a snack, and realize
Hmm.
that they haven't ate until dinner. Like,
Yep.
so they're having like one meal a day, but like you've literally destroyed your body because you've just been snacking and caffeine all single day. And so um that is probably some of without the heavy level of caffeine because I'm not a big coffee guy, but I can snack all day. And so I have to be mindful to not do that. I
Hmm.
have to be mindful to actually have physical meals. And a lot of times when I have physical meals, I find that those snacks are not as desirable. Like I'm already
Yep.
full. I ate a real
Yep.
meal. I'm good. But snacking is hard for me. When I go into cravings, and it's so weird because like when I crave something, 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 is sugar. Two
Hmm.
times out of 10, it's a heavy carb. So, for example, like there's things that I don't eat often. So, for example, I love like some good macaroni.
Yeah.
Holla at me, like all day, every day. But I can literally probably count on 2 fingers how many times I eat that in a calendar year.
Yeah.
And so those would be where my cravings would go towards. I like I told you this a while ago. Not only am I a fan of out of season music, but I'm a fan of out of season foods. Um, by the time it comes in season, I'm pretty much over it.
What you
Like,
mean?
like for example, like I can have turkey in July.
Oh.
You feel me? Like. No, I want some real turkey and stuffing in July.
Oh yeah.
By the
No.
time by the time Thanksgiving Christmas comes around, I'm like, man, like I know we're gonna have it. Let's change it
Hmm.
up. Like by then, I want some hot wings. Like
Yeah.
it's
Nah.
just
I can't do that. I save it for the end of the year because I don't need it no other time of the year.
right.
Yeah.
And so my relationship with food is always it has to be a mindful thing because sometimes it comes natural, right? It comes natural to some people. I think
Yeah.
um for people who are very conscious about eating fruits and vegetables and all this other stuff, like, and don't get me wrong, I don't believe that I know how to cook, but I cook a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I get it.
So so there's levels to this. So like in the fitness community, you'll have like a whole bunch of people who do meal plans, and I meal plan a lot, get a cup of this, all this other stuff. Now, I'm sorry if I'm busting a bubble or if I'm talking to you, but meal planning does not mean you know how to cook. You know how you can tell? This is how you can tell. If you don't have a lot of variety to your I can't even talk. If you don't have a lot of variety to your foods, you probably can't cook. If you cook the same thing all the time,
You cook that unseasoned chicken if you don't get that off Instagram. Everybody want to see that
you
nasty looking
probably
stuff.
can't cook. Listen, it's just so many things where you probably can't cook. It's so many details, and so
People that
I don't
can't
think I
cook know who can't cook just by looking at
exactly.
it.
Exactly. And so, like, anybody can buy the packets of pre-made seasoning. They made them for you if you don't know how to season. Pre-made seasoning to put on whatever chicken or meat or whatever dish you have going on. Um, and so I would encourage you guys that if you find yourself really stressed out, really tight, really I guess on edge a lot, I guess to give you a blanket statement, I would strongly consider looking at your relationship with food.
Mhm.
Maybe you don't eat enough, maybe you eat the wrong crap, maybe you eat too much, but I would seriously look at your relationship with food.
Yes.
I'm the type of guy who believe in terms of food, everything is amazing and just a little bit, just a little bit here, a little bit there, but overindulging or kind of gorging yourself with these things is where we hit the issues
Yeah.
for sure. And so another thing we had on the list, not only your relationship with food, not only working out, I kind of explained that too. I can go into a year about working out in general, how to work out or whatever. Matter of fact, I'm offering that mindset, that thought process, that passion out to you. If you feel like you need to get started in some way, let's have a conversation. You know our email address. Matter of fact, it's tagged. It will be tagged at the beginning of this video. Just reach out to us, even if you want to get started somewhere. I'm not saying I'll hold your hand through the whole thing, because my philosophy is teaching people tools to better themselves, and be self-sufficient. And so we can start that conversation. But not only are we talking about your relationship with eating, not only are we talking about working out and that things, but something that Didi is very much so probably better at this than I am. It does something beautiful to the mental to have a change of scenery.
Yes.
Didi, how often do you do that? What's your thought process when we talk about change of scenery? Do you have a bucket list? Where does your mind go when that happens?
First of all, for people that are have a high propensity to be stressed about change in general,
Mm-hmm.
don't put so much pressure on yourself to have it scheduled. That works for some people, but some people adding to the schedule is more weight. And the purpose of this is to be lighter. So you don't have to have it like, okay, every 90 days, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If that works for you, that's fine. But for me, I just know when it's time because I can feel it in my body that it's time. I can hear it in how I talk to people. I can hear it in, I can feel it when people call me and I just watch their phone ring. That's to me is telling me it's about that time. You need to refuel. And the way that I refuel is a few things. Minor things I do is because I work from home, but I change where I work in my home. So I have a desk set up, and I have it set up how I like it. I have the right kind of lighting that is not too overpowering. Fluorescent lights and me are not friends, so I have the right kind of light. I have the right things on my wall. Like I said before, I don't like bright colors because that intensity even it's just too much. So I need like subdued. I need relaxed colors.
Okay.
And people have even told me that have visited me, I miss going to your house. It's just real chill. And that's my intention. Like it's on purpose that it's chill. Even the smell of my candles are a certain way because smells are things. It's a real thing. They elicit certain feelings.
What's the flavor? What's your top
So
flavor?
first of all, no floral.
Okay.
Cause I'm I'm a millennial and I don't want to smell like my granny's house. I love you, grandma, but that floral is too much. It's too.
Are you an essential oil fan?
No.
Okay.
I don't want a floral candle. I don't with essential oils, I use them for other purposes, not just to make my house smell a certain way. Okay. But so I'm not against it. But when it comes to the way I want my house to smell, I don't want no warm vanilla.
Okay. You ain't trying to come out here smelling like peaches like and
cookies.
Cream.
I ain't trying to smell like no sugar cookies.
Okay, respect.
I need subdued, but on purpose. So I have one is I can't it's way over on the other side of the room. But it's like brandy and leather, and it has amber in it. So it's very much a natural scent, but it smells good. And the way that I know, don't judge me when I say this, but when I test the candle before I buy it, these are the words I've said, but I don't know how else to describe it. It got to smell a little bit like a fresh smelling man.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I don't know how else to describe it. But when I say that, people are like, "Oh, okay. I think I get what you're saying." Like, not a musk, but not like Old Spice, but it's like woodsy, and it's like I don't know, leathery. It's hard to describe it, but I'm gonna send you the name of it. And when you go to Bath and Body Works, you be like, "Oh, okay." But it usually has amber in it. That's the essential oil that probably is what's making it really. But I don't want no floral and I don't want vanilla because I don't want my
Okay.
house to smell sweet. I want it to
Okay.
smell relaxing.
Because ain't none of this over here sweet.
No,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
that.
Watch out.
Because I also have fresh flowers, but I don't want that artificial flower smell. I don't want that. But anyway, change of scenery is for me. It's like where I'm sitting, like my space. But sometimes on a bigger scale, I have to go on my personal retreat. So I will go somewhere for a weekend by myself, and I don't necessarily tell everybody.
Okay. Stop. Hold up. Wait a minute. I need to know. All right. So this is something, and this is not only advice that I'm asking for the crowd. This is really advice for me.
Hmm.
Now, one of my goals this year is to be more. I don't even know what to call it. Just self initiating in terms of changing my environment. Going on solo trips. Going to a place by myself, not necessarily with a group.
Hmm.
Um, but I want to know a little bit more about your mentality when you go to places by yourself. And so, for example, do you just go and it's just a part of your DNA to be okay with traveling by yourself in the sense of what you're going to do and figure it out when you get there?
Hmm.
Do you pre-plan? Do you what's the mentality when you schedule in this retreat?
Um, so it's not always the same every time. And I'll say this: I can go on a group trip and still have my alone time. So
Okay.
group trips, sometimes they'll have a planned itinerary, and I'll fall back and do my own thing. On most of the time, I might share meals, but you go on your excursion, I'm gonna go to the spa.
Okay.
Y'all take pictures, I'm gonna go wander around and explore.
Okay.
Or I tell you I'm doing that, but I'm actually in my room.
Real talk.
Real
Real
talk.
talk.
But when I go somewhere by myself, first of all, the world is a different world than it used to be. So I don't go too far from home. I just go get out of my environment, change of scenery. So it doesn't have to be something overly expensive. I try to get out of the city
Mhm.
and explore somewhere that's really nice, that's not too far, that I don't necessarily have to fly to. Um, and I don't necessarily plan activities. I'm the type of person where this is my time to see what finds me. I don't want to have to
Mm.
overthink it. I don't want to have to schedule it. So I might go somewhere that if it's a resort, they have stuff there. So if I want to do it, I can. If I don't, I won't. But the purpose
Okay.
of it is for me to retreat. So this is for me to unplug. This is for me to get some alone time. So I will take something to write with. And I'll just have some time where I'm just in the quiet.
Hmm.
So it got to be somewhere that's not ugly, so I can go outside on the balcony and
Yeah.
like what I see.
Right.
So the investment to me is in if my room is nice enough, then that's enough for me. If I have access to food, that's good enough for me. But I don't necessarily have to do all the things that this particular place offers unless I want to. Unless I wake up one day and be like, actually, I'll go. But I don't want to overschedule. I don't want to. I want windows of time for freedom to
Yeah.
where I might sign up for something, like if they have the pottery class or whatever, but I still might not go because I just
Right.
changed my mind. So giving myself, to be honest, I'll be like, I'm gonna be irresponsible for 2 days. That's really how I look at it. So I'm
Ain't
gonna
nothing wrong
cancel
with that.
without canceling. I'm a ghost without ghosted. I'm a all of those things.
And
I'm
so
gonna
when you
spend more than I
unplug,
like to spend sometimes.
yeah, that's the nervous part. When you, but like, what else did we say? Your relationship with the money also can have an impact on
Hmm.
that mentality and that mental. So when you are, do you have kind of like a rule of thumb or maybe something that you've observed in your retreat time
Hmm.
um, in terms of your connection to the outside world? So how much do you use your phone? Do you use your phone? Like, is it kind of like I'll just check on it when I check on it, but I'm trying not to be around it? Like, what's your rule in that?
Yeah, I check it when I feel like it.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I don't tell everybody that I'm gone. So some
Okay.
people won't know that I'm in this time to myself. So you don't have to call me. Some people do, and I'll check in with those two people so they know I'm good and I'm safe. But it won't be like I'm not texting nobody back and forth all day.
Right.
It might be like a call in the evening just to make sure I'm good. But I don't really need my phone like that. And normally, even when it comes to like social media, sometimes I be doing stuff so much I forget to take pictures anyway because I be
Yeah.
in it.
You be
So
present. Yeah.
that's not really a thing for me that I'm going to. The only time I'm on it like that is if I'm bored,
Right.
and I'm usually not. So I really use that time to like read, write, think, or just to not always be thinking about the next thing. Or if I have a question about it, the big decision I'm about to make, maybe I'll go. And what's crazy is when I go, I don't even think about the decision that pushed me to go to clear my
Right.
mind. And then I really just get refreshed.
Right.
So
That's
it's really
good.
like a peeling back of all the things. If it's part of my routine, it usually don't happen when I'm gone.
That's good. Something that I'm a big fan of, and I'm just as of the recent few years, I'm a big fan of this is day trips.
Hmm.
And so basically, so what that looks like is um, you navigate and see what places you can go to. I mean, I would say 3 hours
Hmm.
is the travel limit.
Hmm.
So for example, I got this place that's about 2.5, 2:45 away from me. And that's Napa. We talked about this off camera a little
Hmm.
bit. Napa, California. I took a couple day trips there, and it was just exquisite. Like, it's things that I even don't do on, like, stuff that I don't naturally gravitate to. I go and try to make sure I'm a part of it. So, for example, I'll get there. I'll leave my house on 6:30 a.m. on a Saturday. I'll get to Napa 9 o'clock ish.
Hmm.
Um, hit the farmers market, chill out, walk around, you know, just like there's like a couple boardwalks, make sure I'm having a good lunch.
Yep.
That's one of the rules in my day trip. Make sure you're having a good meal.
Yep.
Um, a lot of times, and I told you in the last episode, just having a place where you can kind of go and decompress. Maybe that can be like a park. Maybe that can just be like some nice scenery. Maybe that's chilling out and eating at the farmers, like whatever it looks like. Or sometimes, and I kid you not. So one of the things that is a part of my healthy lifestyle is being creative. God has made me to be creative. I have a creative heart, and sometimes it's rejuvenating when you're creating. Now, let's back up from that, okay? Not all creative things is created equal, and this is what I mean. There's a portion of my life that is work to create, and
Hmm.
what I mean by work is that it's my job to create these things.
Right.
Um, but there's a difference between it's your job to create things and passion. Like, no, this is what I'm passionately. This makes me happy to
Hmm.
work on this project, and so that's another thing that I might do on this day trip. Do I just pull out my laptop at a park and create something that I'm passionate and makes me happy and it makes me, ooh, and it's like a pet project.
Hmm.
Um, is that something that I do? And so that's something that has to be in there. Another thing that has to be out there in there is um, not only a good meal, but I like being close to water,
Hmm.
some way, form, or fashion. Now it doesn't mean always a beach. It doesn't mean always a lake. I have literally, and this place. Shout out to Kansas City, Missouri. Y'all, it's weird. It's weird because Kansas City, Missouri. Let me tell you something that's weird about Kansas City, Missouri. There's cities in California. Think about the climate in California, like in reference to Kansas City, Missouri, that has way less water fountains and waterfalls and stuff like water features than Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm like, Kansas City, Missouri, why does it snow here and it has so many freaking water fountains and stuff like that. And so I could even go to like and be by a water fountain and be fine.
Hmm.
Um, one of my favorite things to do a lot of times is that there would be like a water fountain, big water fountain feature, and like some tables, maybe like it's an eating area or something like that. But you go there, I'll pull up my laptop right next to the water fountain and just be chilling.
Yeah.
Sunny day. And that stuff is just it's just yeah, it just revitalizes me. It
Yeah.
literally just pours so much life into me. And so I would encourage any viewer that is watching right now. Day trips is a thing. Sometimes I understand that you have a schedule. I understand you have priorities. I understand you may be a parent of some sort. Insert how many kids you have there. But maybe if a weekend is not obtainable, maybe if a week is not obtainable, maybe
Hmm.
if 2 weeks, I don't know how people going on 2 week vacations. Lord, I wish I had that life. But if that stuff is not obtainable, day trips are really, really good. But you have to be intentional with that. And
Absolutely.
so I definitely encourage anybody to do a day trip. If you were to do a day trip right now, Didi, where are you going?
Um. Right now, I would probably go to Horseshoe Bay.
Horseshoe Bay, a place I ain't even never heard of.
Yeah, either that or there's another place that's a little bit closer. Or I might go to Fredericksburg, Texas, which is not that far. It's like
Okay.
one. It's like a Texas Napa, like a baby Napa.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that hardcore. Another thing that we talked about recharging, we talked about our faith being a component of that. And now
100%.
that's kind of now speak from 2 points. I'm gonna ask you a question, but I want you to speak from 2 points. I want you to speak from Didi as the person, that navigates life the way that she does, but also speak from people who work in the church. Like so, because there's a difference. There's a
Absolutely.
difference when we talk about faith recharging you and quiet time and quality time. Like there is a difference. So, what would be the way that you recharge in that realm?
I'll put it like this. Sunday mornings is not usually the time that I get fed. Now it happens,
Right.
but because I'm working or I'm on post, as people would say, I can't go all the way in like I be want to because I got to pay attention.
Okay.
I'm responsible for a lot of things, and my eyes being on certain things is important in my role at church. So, but again, things be happening. So
Yeah.
I'm not always, but um, I have to be intentional about getting my time in with God when I'm not at church. And I'm just gonna say this: even if you don't necessarily work for your church, you gotta do something outside of Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just really not feasible for you to have say that you have a quality relationship with somebody that you talk to once a week, or
Mm.
you don't even talk to them once a week. Somebody else is talking on your behalf
Right.
once a week. So it's really important to be intentional. Some people need the structure of, okay, from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., this is what I'm going to do. And I think that's wonderful because you have
Hmm.
to start somewhere. And they call it a discipline for a reason because you have to start with a discipline. And then as your relationship evolves, you begin to hear God in the not so convenient spaces.
Right.
So for me, I have to be intentional. It doesn't look the same way every day. I talk to God every day. He talks to me. And I think it's not like a time frame necessarily because I really, 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 really strongly make sure that I don't box it in to
Yeah.
where it becomes when I have time for you, speak to me. Because that's
Mm.
not a relationship that I want to be in.
Right. That's right.
Hello,
Yeah.
church. I don't want nobody doing me like that. Well, I know you probably got something you want to say, but I'm not available. So I have
Mm.
to be available. And so the way I do it, I pray a simple prayer like, Lord, teach me what you want me to know today. Tell me what you need me to know. And then can you make it simple so I'm not confused?
Yeah.
and um And I always, I think it's important that it doesn't always look like you asking for something from God. And I
Hmm.
think that communion with him helps. So yeah, so if you work in the church, it's hard because you have to be working. So you don't
Hmm.
get to eat when everybody else eat.
Hmm.
So when you're not there, just be intentional about um I don't want somebody in a relationship with me that puts me on a time frame and a time schedule. Because if I
Right.
love you, I want access to you when I need you and when I don't. And I want you to feel like you have that with me too.
Right. Yeah.
So it just
That's
takes intention, but it doesn't have to be a strict schedule. But I know
right.
that it takes that to start the discipline off. Just like probably when you first started working out, you probably had to be like really hard on yourself in the beginning
Yeah.
until your body was like, okay, I need to go work out.
Creating a habit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it had to be from I have to I need to, and then
Right.
I want to.
Yeah. And so something that's beautiful about that is because like I am I mean church all day every day, but it's a difference between um even if you're a volunteer at the church, and I want to keep in mind with this, like you can be dedicated. And I actually tell you the truth, no matter where you serve at, I
Hmm.
am thanking you right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, for understanding the vision, for knowing the vision of your church, and then buying in and volunteering for that vision. Why? We need more people like you. We need way more people like you. But when helping hurts, it can start hurting if you start burning yourself out. It can start hurting if you are literally so far on into your duties that you are kind of like Didi said, neglecting the relationship part of it. And
Hmm.
so, something that regenerates me more than anything, and something that honestly reminds me more of God than anything, is just being out in nature, God's creation. um, I like hiking. I like seeing, being around greenery, being outside, being in nature, and there's something about that that just really stirs my affections for God. And so, at that moment, I'm just being obedient. I want to be obedient to what He has me. So, if He stirs my affections, I'll open up the Bible. I'll do a devo. I'll be there, like right there, right there, and right there. But something that helps me, and Dee Dee spoke to that too, is that when I'm not limited on time to do so,
Hmm.
if I'm like, oh, I got to hurry up, I only got 20 minutes to do this. A lot of times vacation for me really means that you don't have a priority pressing to get to. Taking your time, having a lot of fluidity. If you want to spend a lot of time on this, do that. If
Yep.
you don't, do that. Um, there's so many times where we are what I like to call victims of your schedule. Meaning that when you are not there at that specific time, things will suffer, people will be inconvenienced, so on and so forth. And so, vacation can just simply mean I'm not on a time schedule,
Turn
man.
it off.
I get to it when I get to it. And so, the fact that I can do that with my Lord and Savior is beautiful. I appreciate it so much. But that's the definition of unplugging to me,
Hmm.
is having time to do that. Um, and so we want to end on this because this is the one thing that I think is very underrated. Um, but we have to be using it well. So, and let me give you a brief recap before I ask you this last one. We talked about a healthy lifestyle, our relationship with food, our relationship with just working out. How are we pouring into ourselves? What habits are we creating? How change of scenery and the change of environment can help and aid that. We talk about even just now how our faith is being built through these seasons. But did you know, viewer, that your relationship with people, this sounds crazy, with people can very much so be well for your soul, be well for your life, be well for that healthy lifestyle.
Or not
How
will.
can, or not well, or not well, or draining. Didi, where do you find value in relationship with people, and where have you seen, whether it be in your life or other people in the world, it drain you?
If I'm always checking and giving and considering and all the time, and I don't consider myself to the point where, okay, so it's noble to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a relationship, it should be an exchange of those things, not just
Right.
one direction.
Right.
And so that could be in any relationship. That could be family relationships, that could be friendships, that could be romantic relationships, that could be leader and follower relationships, that could be all of it. And it's draining when I feel empty every time you come around.
Hmm.
Because I don't have a problem feeling empty sometimes because I know where my help comes from.
Right.
But if you just a drainer all the time,
Yeah.
if you have a reputation and everybody says, "Oh, that's just how she is," that's not good.
Yeah.
If you text me and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and I answer you, and then I reply at the end of that, "How are you?" and that's the last word I get in, you a drainer.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
You really only asked how I'm doing, so I would respond. So you knew I was looking at my phone. If
Exactly.
you see the green dot on my Instagram, so you call me because you know I'm on my phone. What you don't know about me is I'm gonna watch it ring, and I'm gonna swipe your name up, and I'm gonna get right back on it because I know you're kind. The
Yeah.
old me would have poured my heart and soul to make sure you feel good, and I don't have a problem doing that. But I have learned that I'm important too.
Yeah.
Not more important, but I'm important too. And if I don't protect me, who will? Because
Yeah.
out of the kindness of my heart, I'm drained. How
Yeah.
about out of the kindness of my heart, I'm refilled and refueled? So I've seen it both ways. Now I've seen it. This is the other thing I have to learn is I don't have to have all the friends. Because that was a challenge for me. Because I'd be like, man, I wish I had the group like that, like they got over there. I wish I had the click, not click in a
Yeah.
bad way, but I wish I had like, you know, if I needed something, I got these 5 people, whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
Then I had to accept that I only need about 2 good ones.
Yeah. That's real.
I only need about 2 good ones that know enough about me to hold me accountable, but enough about me to celebrate when I win.
Right. That's good.
And to know like, hey, when the last time you know, went on one of your retreats? When the last time you like, are you still going? When
Yeah.
how you doing for real?
Yeah. I got certain people that anytime that they name cross my caller ID, my text message, my social media or whatever, I know they want something. I know they want something. And if that's the
We know who
case,
you are because you probably watching.
exactly. If that's the case, then that's you. Like that, not like that's you. Like I literally have people in my life that I have not like we've known each other for years. I'm not sure if we had too many encounters, or I can count on one hand how many encounters we've had that doesn't end with you asking me to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that's draining. But on the other side, I do have people who constantly ask how can they be praying for me, who constantly ask for updates as to the season of my life. So they ask the, hey, how are you? And then they're like then you tell them how you are, but then they follow up, you know, whatever time later saying like, hey, did that get better, did that stuff. Like those people give me life.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, not only that, but when they do that, they call me to a higher standard. Like, hey, if they're doing that for me, who am I doing that for? I need to be doing that for somebody. Opposed to people who I think I'm very open and honest with what I would like to be known for. Not necessarily in a public view, but in the sense of if I die today, these are the
A
things that I
legacy.
want people to know that I stood for. I want to stand for dependability. I want to stand for being a man of my word. I want to stand for these things. And so since people know that, if you then turn that to, oh, well, I know
You ain't gonna
that
say
he
no
gonna
to
do
me.
this. Exactly. I know he gonna do this. Oh,
I
I
already
know I
know.
can get it. Like Nah, you are a drainer. And so I would end with I would end with actually with this one thing. Like when we talk about people being assets, if you will, for a healthy lifestyle, ask yourself, ask you as your nobody can answer this question but you. Ask yourself, are you giving people life? Are you promoting healthy boundaries, life, just habits in people, or are you literally draining? Are you taking? Are you taking? Are you taking? Now, I understand. I'm not saying never ask anybody for anything, but I'm saying relationship, kind of like Dee Dee said, means that it's a kind of a give and take type thing. I pour into your life, you pour into mine.
It's
It's
a
not
give and
you just
give.
coming in. Yeah, it's a give and give, not a give and leech. Because we
Yeah.
know some leeches out here.
And I would even add to that, because you don't want to get to the point where you want to be the person like I want, because I want this to be my legacy, that I'm always looking for opportunities. Nothing wrong with that. But I'll add
Right.
to that, it's okay to restructure people's position in your life.
Ooh,
So if they are a drainer, it doesn't mean you got to cut them off, because at the end of the day, they do need a light, and you might be the only link they got.
right.
But that doesn't mean that they're in your favorites list. It doesn't mean that they got to be the first person you call for
Right.
when you need something, just because all your missed calls is their name. So you might have to scroll. You might have to scroll to find a different name. But
Right.
it's okay to reposition people, and you don't have to announce their repositioning.
Right.
You don't have to tell, hey, just so you know, I want to have a conversation, because you're not, we're gonna have to talk through our. You ain't got to do all that
Yeah.
for your own mental health.
Yeah.
Just restructure some things, and they can be your blood related person. It's
Yes.
okay, because
Yes.
you only got one life. You don't get to redo it.
Yes.
We get to start from a new place, but we don't get to go back and fix stuff, and that's okay, because guess what?
Yeah.
They put you where they want you,
Yeah.
and they don't apologize ever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's facts. That's
Yeah.
facts. And that's real. So, yeah, thank y'all for joining with us. Just continue the conversation. Like we said, feel free to comment on Instagram posts on this. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to comment below. Just more healthy lifestyles tips, more tips to promote a healthy lifestyle. If you got some maybe we didn't say, we want to implement that into our lifestyle. Please don't
Yes.
hide it from us. But also, like always, if you want to continue this conversation, we want to continue this conversation, because it's not a podcast, it's a movement. You can feel free to email us at setapartpodcastteam@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Other than that, what's the sign out for the people? What's the wisdom?
Here it is. Drink more water. And if you don't like water, drop some fruit in there, and it tastes a little better. Okay? And you have approximately 14 days before you need a new toothbrush. And I'm not playing, because y'all, if your toothbrush bristles be like this and not like this, they should not be curved. Okay? Change your toothbrush. All right?
Bet. Change
It was
your
only built
toothbrush.
for 30 days. And then brush your teeth, brush your tongue, and brush the roof of your mouth. Not too hard, but it be stinky stuff up there. It be germs up there. But then nobody teach you that. But look, out of the kindness of my heart, I want y'all to be fresh. When y'all ask that girl for your number, sometimes she say no because of your breath. But I love you, all my brothers in Christ, and my sisters in Christ too. You're cute, but I smell it through the mask, my sister. All right, I love you. Okay.
Peace.
Hey, this is your girl Dee Dee from Set Apart with Ren and Dee Dee. Thank you so much for tuning in to this latest installment. Don't forget to subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts.